how are you? I'm Janet with the Terramon Tech team, and today I'll be going over 5 tips to photographing hummingbirds at home. Now, by no means am I an expert at shooting hummingbirds. It's a new hobby of mine that I started a few weeks ago, just about when we were stuck inside. So with all the time and the only thing I can shoot around here that's interesting, I started getting into hummingbirds. So how did I get into hummingbirds exactly? Well, here's your story. It goes back. I had been following Spencer Pratt. He's a reality star slash social media influencer, and I follow him on social media for a couple years now, where he posts him hand feeding hummingbirds, such as this picture. And I've been wanting to try this for a while now, but at my last place that I lived at, I couldn't because I was living in the city. But now that I've moved from North Hollywood, California to the hills of Palos Verdes, there's a lot of trees up here, a lot of birds, all kinds of birds actually, from gosh, these huge ravens to little beautiful house finches, and of course these little critters darting around, hummingbirds. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can finally try hand feeding them now. So what did I do? I contacted Spencer on social media. I asked him where did he buy his handheld feeder, and he replied actually and told me where to buy it. And I bought one. I have my own handheld feeder. I was ready to give it a shot. It took me about a week to finally attract some because the hummingbirds, they once they know where certain feeders are and where there's a reliable source, they'll go back to it. They have like a natural GPS in their bodies or in their brains. And so until they knew about me, they weren't stopping by, but now they do. And they keep coming back every day now. And I finally landed my first hummingbird, feeding him. And ever since, they've just been coming every day. And I love it. I've been falling in love every day. And this is actually shot on my iPhone. So I'm still working on setting up a camera to do some video. Work on that. I'll be working on that. Okay, the first tip that I learned is the color red. Why? Because hummingbirds are naturally attracted to bright colors, yellow, orange, pinks, and purples. But the most important color and the color that you'll love the most is red. So therefore, you'll see most feeders will have some sort of red in it, such as my handheld feeder here that has red with the yellow flowers or red flowers. This is my hanging feeder. It's a copper base with red flowers. And so naturally, red is now my go-to color at home. Anything with red, all the shades of red, literally anything with red. Because what you want to do is attract them, right? Because you're trying to shoot these hummingbirds. Tip number 2, perch with them. And what do I mean by that? Well, ideally, I would have built a hummingbird paradise garden slash whatever you could say, having, various flowers on the balcony and a nice comfortable area to sit, and that I can just lounge and wait for them all day. But like I said, I just moved and I'm still working on furnishing my place. So for now, it's empty, but I'm definitely going to work on that, getting it to the point where hummingbirds will just flock and come every day. Not that they don't come every day now, but like I want more to come. So to get to their level, if you can see in the top right corner is my hanging hummingbird feeder, and I want to get to its level, so I use my little step stool right here to kind of perch on that step stool and get up there with them, because you want to try to get as close as you can. At first, they'll wondering what you're doing. They do get a little spooked sometimes, but I think the ones that are around me, they're kind of used to having me around now, so they're not camera shy. I do want to mention that I'm glad that my balcony came with this roller shade because I can roll it down. That way, my neighbors across the street don't think I'm some creeper with a camera. Definitely don't want to be that photographer. And that I can hide behind it and then take pictures of the hummingbirds. Tip number 3, be patient, like really patient. And I have all day, so and I'll be sitting at my desk just, working, and I actually moved my desk to face the balcony, like face outwards, because that way I can just watch any birds or any animals come by, because I'll get like these gigantic squirrels. They'll just hop on my balcony as well. So yeah, so I saw this one. It's gloomy because it had been raining for like 2 or 3 days straight, which is really rare here in Southern California. But it did, and it's nice every now and then. So this little guy was just perched on the tree uh, near the uh, near the feeder. And also, I want to point out that if you do end up getting into this hobby as well, to I learned that to place your feeder near trees, anything that has branches or places for them to perch, because it's kind of like a getaway for them when if because hummingbirds are territorial, and if they're feeding out a feeder, they need to escape because another hummingbird is about to charge at them. They can just fly to the nearest tree or branch. So yeah, he was here, and I actually shot this. I had my camera right by my desk, ready to go with the 150-600, and I believe I shot this actually through my sliding doors, my balcony sliding doors, and there are like these floor to ceiling sliding doors, so that's why I have all this natural light coming through. And yeah, I didn't want to scare it away, so I just sat at my desk and shooting through the window, and caught him preening himself in the rain. It was drizzling. I didn't know they were that flexible with their necks. And again, patience, because I've perched on this step stool sometimes 30 to 40 minutes straight. I'll just be standing there waiting, because sometimes they'll be feeding at the feeder, and then they'll fly away and they'll come back. And I just don't want to miss the chance, because you want to be in their habitat. And yeah, I know it does get heavy with that lens and camera, and of course I'll take a break and lower my arms to take a break while they're away, and then I'll kneel down or something every now and then and get back up. So yes, I definitely need to work on getting my balcony all set up to comfortably shoot these little guys. Such as this. So yeah, when you finally wait, you'll get some shots. This one I actually shot. I think I experimented using a flash, an external flash off to the side, because you're shooting at high shutter speeds, so any extra lighting will help. Tip number 4: know your bird. I know this might sound strange, but it kind of makes sense, because there are 5 different types of hummingbirds, and their wings flap anywhere from 12 to 200 per second. It's crazy. And the different types of hummingbirds flap their wings at different rates. So it could be faster, it could be slower. And why is this important? Because it leads us to tip number 5: shoot fast and continuous. So I've been setting mine, I've been shooting, I think this one's shot at 1,000 of a second, I believe. Summer I shot 2,000 of a second. And so going back to tip number 4, knowing your bird, or the different types, because there are, tiny hummingbirds, like there are different breeds, or not breeds, but different types. So there's like bee hummingbird, a giant hummingbird, and they'll flap their wings at different rates, right? So if it's slower, then you don't need as fast of a shutter speed, and then that way you can lower your shutter speed. Or if they're perched like this, that's why I purposely bought feeders with these little branch-like places for them to perch. So that way, since I'm new to this, I can start out shooting them while they're sitting, such as this picture, which is it's awesome. So my gosh, it's so beautiful, so cute. And where was I? So, oh yes, shooting continuous, and because they will hover. So these are the only birds that can fly backwards, which is so cool because when they're feeding and they're hovering, they'll take breaks. So they'll feed and then they'll just be hovering right there for a little bit. And that's your chance to finally shoot. And you definitely want to, shoot in continuous high, your frame per second to be high, continuous autofocus, and a fast shutter speed. And depending if how much you want to freeze their wings, I know there are some hummingbird enthusiasts out there, photographers that prefer to freeze their wings, but I kind of like the motion of their wings. So this one of the first, I think it was the first week that I started practicing shooting, and I got this shot, and I kind of like it. So this is one of my favorite shots so far, as well as the one that was Perch. So, yeah, there's my latest hobby that I've been doing since being cooped up indoors this whole time. And I definitely welcome any feedback or suggestions from any hummingbird enthusiasts out there or any other birders. Any advice you can give me, definitely hit me up on social media or email me. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you next time.